Okay, so today's lesson is two-step equation word problems. This is the most important part because when you take the PSSA, there's actually no standard that says that you should know how to solve two-step equations. The standard, which I should have put up here, the standard says that you should be able to solve two-step equation word problems. Now, in order to solve the word problems, we have to know how to solve two-step equations first, so we have to get that done first. So here we are at the point of being ready to solve the two-step equation word problems now. So we're going to go back to thinking about writing expressions for a minute. The first one says if we have $10 plus $5 times the number of roses ordered. I have a few extra things written up there. I think they're in yours too. Yes, define the variable. So we have to decide what letter we want to use as our variable and what it's going to represent. So since I'm going to be talking about the number of roses, when I define my variable, I'm going to say let R equal the number of roses. I like to use variables that kind of stand for the thing I'm talking about. So R for roses. You could use X every single time if you just like to use X. You might have used N for the word number. So that if I'm writing an expression, I have 10 plus 5 times the number of roses. So 10 plus 5R. Now let's take a look at the next one. A man is 2 years younger than 3 times his son's age. What would I define my variable as? Irene?
A.
A for?
It would equal the son's age.
Okay, good. Let A equal the son's age. And what expression could I write for a man is 2 years younger than 3 times his son's age? Eve?
You could do 3A times 2.
Good. 3A minus 2. So it's been a while since we did writing expressions, but we have to be thinking about how we did that as we move into equations. Okay, the next problem, we're actually going to turn this into a whole equation, writing and solving an equation. So remember expressions, what's the difference between an expression and an equation? Grace?
You don't solve. Which one did we do first? The equation?
We just did the expression.
Okay, the expression you don't solve, and the equation you can solve.
Basically, yeah. Adria?
Equations have equal signs.
Equations have equal signs. Sometimes we do solve an expression, like when we evaluate expressions, if we know what the variable is, then we can solve it. But technically, we are adding an equals even though we don't write an equals. So both of you are right. All right, suppose your grandmother sends you 5 games for your birthday. Each game has the same weight. So they must be video games or something if they're all the same weight. The box she mails them in weighs, which there's a T in there that shouldn't be there, weighs 8 ounces. The total weight is 48 ounces. What is the weight of one game? Okay, first of all, we have to define our variable. So usually the question that it asks us at the end helps us know what we're going to define the variable as. We want to know the weight of one game. So our variable is going to be the weight of one game. I'm going to use G. Let G equal the weight of one game. Okay, now I have to write an equation. So think about you're writing an expression, but there's an equal sign in it somewhere.
Pardon the interruption. Seniors with the last name beginning with A through F, please report to the trainer's hallway at this time.
That's right, today's Vision Day, so we're going to be interrupted with announcements all day.
Wait, do we have to do that?
Yeah, everybody will be doing vision tests all day long. All right, any ideas about what the equation might be that we could use to solve this? Jake?
8G equals 48.
8G equals 48. No, not quite. Any other ideas? Devin?
5 5G equals, 5G plus 8, oh yeah, equals 48.
Very good. 5G plus 8 equals 48. So if we look at what goes with, our variable stands for the weight of one game. Well, up here it says that your grandmother sends you 5 games. So we have to take 5 times the weight of one game to get the weight of all 5 games, plus the box she mails them in. So we have the games plus the box equals the total weight. I should have written that above and not under because now we need to solve the equation. Okay, this is fair game. I'm going to use the cards because you all should be able to solve the equation. Michaela, tell me what to do to solve this.
You would multiply 5, or no, 5 plus 8.
Now I want to solve the equation, so just think. Two-step
So you
equations.
just
We want to
subtract 8.
subtract 8. There we go. Okay, and you end up with?
48 minus 8 is 40.
Okay, what's left on this side?
5G.
5G equals 40, and then what?
8. You divide them by that.
Good. Divide them both by 5. You get G equals 8. So you would finish this up with a sentence that says that you remember what G stands for. So you would say the weight of, I'm going to need to write a little lower, of one game is 8 ounces. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, let's look at another one. Suppose you buy a jumbo lemonade for $1.50 and divide the cost of an order of chicken wings with 2 friends. Your share of the total bill is $5.50. Write and solve an equation to find the cost of the chicken wings. Okay, what's our variable going to be? Devin?
Can C or W?
What's that?
C or W?
Yeah, sure. What do you want to use?
I don't know.
There's no right or wrong. Whatever you pick, we're all going to go with.
C.
C? Okay. Let C equal what? What does C stand for?
The chicken wings,
What about the chicken wings?
think how much they are.
What do you mean? How much?
Cost
What
of them?
cost? There we go. Equals the cost of chicken wings. Okay, now this one, the equation's a little trickier for, so I want to give you all a minute to think about what the equation is, and then I'll take volunteers. So no volunteers yet, because I want everybody to think about this one. See if you can write down what you think the equation would be, and then I'll take volunteers. Okay, now I will take ideas.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Is his share of the does his share of the total bill include the lemonade?
The lemonade is just his. Actually yours. It says suppose you. This is talking about you, Grace. So you bought a lemonade and then you divided the cost of the chicken wings with 2 friends.
So this 550 doesn't include the lemonade? Or does it?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
And do they want to be like divided by 2? Because the 2 friends are divided by 3 because you and your 2 friends.
Right,
We're
right.
gonna figure
Because
out
it's
how.
you and your 2
Okay.
friends. Okay. Ideas. Elena, go ahead.
I was thinking C plus 50 or 150 over 3.
Not quite. If we did that, I'm going to write that down for a minute. That would say that we're taking the cost of the chicken wings plus the cost of the lemonade and dividing it all by 3. We're not dividing the lemonade by 3 because you're not sharing the lemonade.
Then C over 3
There you go.
plus 150 equals 550.
Do it this way. Okay, so C, you're taking the cost of the chicken wings, you're dividing it by 3 people, yourself and your 2 friends, makes 3 people all together, plus you have to include the cost of your lemonade for a total of $5.50. That was your share of the bill. Okay, questions? Devin?
Would it be alright if you had in parentheses 550 minus 150 times 3?
550. So you're basically solving the whole equation that way. So you would have had C equals 550 minus 150, then what?
Times 3.
Times 3. So you basically had this. So what you did was you basically solved the 2-step equation for the variable already, in a way. You went through all the steps. You did 550 minus 150, and then you multiplied times 3. I want you initially to show me this equation, but this is an equivalent equation, and this is an equation you can solve to find the answer. So it's not wrong, but I'd rather have you start with the simplest form of the equation. All right, so now we need to solve it. Taryn, tell me what to do to solve it.
You subtract 150 from both sides. $4
Okay, what do I have left over here?
C over 3
Mhm.
equals $4. And you do times 3, and it equals 12.
Okay, how about I finish that off in a sentence? Zoe?
The cost of chicken is $12.
Okay, the cost of the chicken wings was $12. Okay, the next 2 slides are just 2 additional questions. I would like you all to work on these. They'll take about 5 minutes, I think. Yes, we're doing very well for time. We'll take about 5 minutes, and then we're going to talk about the answers to those. Raise your hand if you're having trouble getting started or if you need help. Okay, let's go over these. First one. On weekday afternoons, a local bowling alley offers a special. Each bowling game costs $2.50 and shoe rental is $2. You spend $14.50 total. What is the number of games that you bowl? Zoe, would you define the variable for us?
Let G equal games that you bowl.
Okay, let G equal, let's say the number of games, because we want to specify it's how many games, not the cost of a game. Number of games you bowl. Okay, how about the equation, McKenna?
I did 5.50 G plus 2 equals 14.50.
Wait, 5.50 G?
2.50.
It should be 2. Where'd you get 5.50?
Oh, I meant to.
Okay, okay. 2.
Pardon the interruption.
50. I think the other question was 550. That's where you were getting it. 550 G plus 2 equals 1450. Okay, excellent. Any questions about the equation, how to come up with that equation? You could also have had 2 plus 2.5 G, and that would have been okay as well. Okay, Pat, tell us how to solve the equation.
He played.
Oh, wait, how to solve it?
I did -2, and then I did divide.
Okay, let's do that. So you ended up with?
12.5.
Okay, and then what?
And then I did divided by 2.5.
And G,
I got G equals 5.
good. Okay, can you put that in a sentence?
I got he played 5 games.
Good. He played 5 games. The reason it's important to write your solution in the form of a sentence is a lot of times people get so involved solving the equation, they come up with an answer that makes no sense whatsoever. Like it's really big or really small and it doesn't make sense. And then they don't even remember what it stood for, so they don't even know that it didn't make sense. So this makes sense. You might play about 5 games when you go bowling, right? If you had gotten a number like 50, and you didn't know that you were talking about the number of games you bowl, you might be like, okay, I got 50, and you're done.
Yeah.
You have to think, okay, if I got 50, I'd say he played 50 games. Is it realistic to play 50 games in an afternoon? Probably not. So you want to be thinking about whether your answer makes sense for the rest of your problem. All right, next problem. Solomon decided to make posters for the student council election. He bought markers that cost 79 cents each and a poster board that cost $1.25. The total cost was $7.57. Write and solve an equation to find the number of markers that Solomon bought. Braden, can you define the variable for us?
I put M.
Okay, you used M, so let M equal what?
The cost of the how many markers you got.
How many markers? Okay, so we'll say the number of markers. Okay, the equation, Katie.
I put 0.79x plus 1.95
Good. I changed your x to an m just to stay consistent with what Braden did. So your x is fine, but we want the whole problem up here with the same. Okay, good job. Any questions about the equation? Okay, Devin, can you solve it for us?
125 minus 125 equals 0.
Wait a second, before we do it, we have to do it to the other side too, so let's make sure we show all that first. So minus, okay, what do you end up with?
0.79 m equals 6. It is equal to 6.32
Good. And then what do we do?
divided by 0.79. Point to both sides.
Okay, and m equals
8.
8. You get an answer like this and you think, oh, that's going to be an ugly answer, and then it works out just to be 8. Okay, can you put that in a sentence?
8 markers were bought.
Okay, 8 markers were bought, or Solomon bought 8 markers. Good. And that makes sense, right? You might buy 8 markers for a project. If Solomon had bought 800 markers, we'd be like, okay, I think I did something wrong here. Even if we had gotten a decimal, if it's giving us an exact amount, if we got a decimal, we think, you know, Solomon couldn't have bought 7.5 markers, so is there something missing from the problem, like tax? So you really have to think about your answer in terms of the whether it makes sense. All right, we're going to stop here with this lesson. There's no exit ticket for this lesson because this is still kind of an emerging idea. What we're going to be doing in the second half of the class, and I'll pass the workout now and you can get started, is you are going to be working on a worksheet of going through the same set of steps, and you may work with a partner, someone beside you or behind you, and compare with those around you, so that the goal by the end of that class is to have a good understanding of how to do this.